It's the morning star drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the morning star drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Friday, December 10th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So what is happening today on this wonderful and fabulous Friday? We've got some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, the word study about the Wednesday message, and of course, victory rhymes with Youngse. So how are you guys doing today? Yes, it is exciting because it is Friday. Yes, the end of the week. I hope you guys are just looking forward to a relaxing work day. And then, of course, we're looking forward to an amazing weekend. So, what's your plans for this week? You know, comment below. Would love to hear what you guys are doing. For me, I got just a local soccer tournament. Well, it's not even a local thing. It's just kind of a play day with a bunch of friends. But it's going to be really fun. And I hope that all of us here can just relax, have a good time, meet good people, and get ourselves ready for another week of putting the words into action through the direction coming from the Sunday message. So, let's get things kicked off here together on the Morning Star Drive. Keep liking, commenting, because what do we want to do? We want to build the community. And how are we going to do this? We build the community by participation. We build the community by putting in your own segments. Build the community by commenting, by liking. There's lots of different ways that we can do this. And I really hope that all of us here can really get ourselves to make something here that the future generations can continue to use. So, you know, even for myself, I know that I'm not going to be the only person doing these podcasts. In the future, there'll be someone taking over. And I just, for what I see, visioning for this MSD 117.8 is we're going to have other channels here too, other podcasts in different languages, in Chinese and in Japanese or whatever it is. But I'm really hoping that we can build this type of community that all of us can work together in, all right? So yeah, song requests, stories, questions, testimonies, just comments, would love it. Comment on other people's comments. This is how we build the community. So it is already December 10th, which means that we're just like 2 weeks away from Christmas time. So, you know, starting from today, we're going to start doing some more Christmas music. And that's something I really want to start getting everyone into the season and into the mood. Christmas is just around the corner, and I hope you guys spend a great time giving glory to the Holy Trinity, spending time with your family, meeting newcomers, taking care of them, thanking God for sending the Lord. And someone as myself who comes from the former faith, I am so grateful and thankful for, because without knowing Jesus, without knowing God, even beforehand, it would be more difficult for me to understand and believe. But I'm just very grateful and thankful that, especially on Christmas Day, that the Messiah was sent and born. So, of course, it's not the actual birthday, but it's something that I really am thankful to God for. So, we're going to start some Christmas music to get everyone into the mood. But, of course, we're going to start that a little bit later when it comes to the praise section and for the special song for today, right? All right. A couple things. One thing that someone's asking me, and it was a good question about the Sunday editions. And the Sunday editions is a really, you know, it's something I really enjoy. This week we met Daniel Patterson. And myself, guys, this is something that I want you guys to understand, especially when it comes to building a culture in any organization. One of the things that I don't want to do is to like base my Sunday editions on like they have to have some requirement. My only requirement for people coming to the Sunday edition is that they're in Providence. That's it. Why? Because it's about their story, their testimony. And some people might say that, oh, you know, but what if they're not doing well in faith? And the answer is, well, you know, everyone has ups and downs, right? Because if it's based on whether they do well or not in faith, then my problem would be is, what if I interview someone who's doing well in faith, but then later they don't do well in faith? Does that mean I have to take their video down? Or someone who's not doing well in faith right now could do the testimony, be reminded of how much God has worked for their life and influence and inspire other people. And then on top of that, what's going to happen? Then they will be able to, get themselves out of their hole, right? And they could be inspired, like, wow, this is how much God has done for me, and they get better from it too. So there's a lot of different reasons. Like the only time I would ever take a video down is if someone, like left. Like, that would be the only reason. And even then I would just privatize it, because later on they could come back too, right? It's possible. So one thing I want to tell you guys is Sunday editions, this is your story. This is your story between you and the Lord. It is a testimony, and everyone has one. Everyone's got a different story. So, don't feel bad. Like, oh no, I got nothing special to say. No, don't worry about that. For Sunday editions, it's open to everyone. There is no, I'm doing good or bad. I missed pre-dawn or this. No, it's got nothing to do with that. This is just your story between you and the Lord. No one knows what's going to happen to everyone. And you know what? I am very, very open, and I think that everyone has an amazing story that they can tell. All right. So if that answers that question, I hope that answers that question for some of you wondering, oh, am I someone who's able to do it? And the answer is, of course. Everyone can do it. I have no, what's that word? I have no discrimination. There's nothing about, how well you're doing in faith right now. It's for everyone, okay? Also, Espresso with Sky channel, did you watch the video that came out last night? Why doesn't God just show himself so everyone believes? Like, wouldn't that be the best thing? But it's a good video for a lot of newcomers that do ask this question. Give me 1 second. It's time to sip my coffee. Is this like ASMR? Like, can you guys actually hear me do that? I don't know. We'll find out a little bit later. But those of you who guys want, you can show your newcomers this, or you can listen to it yourself and learn how to explain certain questions like this too for newcomers. All right. So what does that mean? So let's get into the member music going on around the world. I hope you guys are, enjoying this time. 2 weeks away from vacation time. For a lot of people going to work, they will get a little bit of vacation time. And for us in school, not us, because I'm not in school right now, but for those of you in school, you guys are going to have your finals finishing this week, and most likely you'll have like a 2-week break. So I can't wait until students go on break so they can listen to my podcast, right? I don't think they'll listen anyways if they haven't been listening now. But cool thing is the numbers for the podcast are going up. So that's really cool. And what's even cooler is those of you guys don't know my Espresso with Sky channel, I started doing shorts, right? So they're like these little TikTok things that's on YouTube now. And my latest one that just came out is like doing really well. So I'm super happy about this. But if you can, please put in a prayer for my Espresso with Sky channel. Just so we can get more and more newcomers and more people to learn the gospel, even though they don't know it, right? Either way. So let's get into the featured artists of the day on this relaxing and Christmassy Friday. We're going to start off with Man and Groom from the Paper Music Associates in Korea. And this song is called Game. Then after that, we have the Aussie Boys. Oh, no, they're called the Rapture Collective. I believe that's what it's called. Is that right? Dan, I know you're listening right now. I think it's right. It's the Rapture Collective. I'm pretty sure. Right? Rapture Collective. So I'm going to change this because I keep putting in the same thing, but I need to get used to this, and all of us need to get used to this name because they're coming up with new music. The Rapture Collective. Got it. Rapture Collective with Rapture Collective from, I'm going to write this in my notes too, from Australia, and this song is All My Thanks and Love. The second and the last song today is the Somebody Boys from America with Nothing Could Go Wrong. All right? So as we are ending off this year well, let's make sure to put some prayers in for all our member artists from around the world.
재밌네. 언제쯤 될까? 빨리 한 방이라도 더 해가지고 맞죠?
게임 같은 내 인생은 다이아몬드 깎아내야 돼 마인크래프트 감성으로 매번 진다면 열심히 해야 돼 lose my mind 조작은 내가 하는 건데 왜 해남 탑 세계를 만들어내 당연히 왕은 I am 일단 발을 떼고 가서 봐야 돼 앞에 뭐가 있는지는 아직 모르는 게 패기 난 백기 안 펴지 첫 시작은 스몰 토킹 난 그냥 유튜브에 빠진 패인 전략적인 내 점도 엷은 죄책감을 또 심지 새끼 또 이거 멍청하게 시간을 낭비하지 거짓말을 못하고 내면에 맞이 보면 더기 스테이키같이 나는 엉망거리지 보기 좋게 나는 나랑 협상을 시도했어 Bubble rockin' do nothing 이거는 단지 왜 이렇게 됐지 Where's the problem 내게는 바쁜 빨리 나랑 앉아 대화해 너 정말 이러다가 큰일 나너 정말 이러다가 절벽 가 새끼야 제발 Fake it then fake it then 나는 정말로 success를 하고 싶어 I want fire I just wanna fly 게임 같은 내 인생은 다이아몬드 깎아내야 돼 마인크래프트 감성으로 매번 진다면 진짜 열심히 해야 돼 lose my mind 조작은 내게 하는 건데 왜 해남 탓 세계를 만들어낼 당연히 왕은 I am. 일단 발을 떼고 가서 봐야 돼 앞에 뭐가 있는지는 아직 모르는 게 패기. 난 백기 안 펴지.
Yeah, welcome to God's new history. Daily preaching, the Bible no longer a mystery. Saving lives, taking action, what a wonderful destiny. Working tirelessly and we can become heavenly. All I ever wanted for you is to see we can become one with the Trinity. A condition was set by His highest. Confess and pray, create a new mindset. If you follow until the end, I promise you, you will surely realize God's divineness.
He's divine, yo. Alpha and Omega, He's divine. Yeah. So let's reflect on the past. You gotta look deeply at the things God has done. Salvation at the highest has been granted. That's a blessing of blessings, the Lord's mandate. Spring water the hills faster than a band-aid. COVID safe cause His eyes was on us like a magnet. Got the seal on our foreheads, yet they can't do nothing. The devil and his gang have been disbanded.
So I raise my praise to you. So I lift my hands up high. Even in my weakness, even in my struggles, I'll always give my thanks and love. All my thanks and love.
Got so many bars that I never lose signal. Keeping it lit like a candlelight vigil. Lamp to my feet and a lighter to my palm. God's word is my perspective, the righteous collective. Filtering pollution, being mentally selective. Guarding the heart, it's a protective. Do it in a new way, in spirit of physicality. Do it in a new way, take it higher, raise a level. Giving God glory, God's love is the story. So rich in His love, feeling like a rich miser. Love is exploding like a geyser. Love so contagious, spread across the world like Pfizer. Antidote of a nation.
Reflect on the past. You gotta look deeply at the things God has done. Salvation at the highest has been granted. That's a blessing of blessings, the Lord's mandate. Spring water the hills faster than a band-aid. COVID safe cause His eyes was on us like a magnet. Got the seal on our foreheads, yet they can't do nothing. The devil and his gang have been disbanded.
So I raise my praise to you. So I lift my hands up high. Even in my weakness, even in my struggles, I'll always give my thanks and love. All my thanks and love.
Okay.
This could be a fast life or short life, depending how you living. Nothing could go wrong if I'm with you, it's so fulfilling. If you keep the time, really God walks with you. Not even just walks with you, He will even talk with you. That is right. Been feeling life is different, everything depends on me. And having my own thoughts, that's really a test to me. The more I make myself, the more valuable I become. I have to take action, that's the final outcome. How could I ever forget the moments that we spent together? It's those past memories that will put you together. It's what you do after the mess up that counts. I give glory and thanks even in times of doubt. Don't just say you have the heart but don't do it. You say you want, you gotta show Him and prove it. You have to be a life the Lord really remembers. Don't just walk around for no reason, do better. On the gas, pushing the pace as I start this race. I have to get my mind straight so I can become great. The time I have now, I really must cherish. It could be gone at any moment, it really just vanished. I know it's been a while since I sat and even wrote a song. I wonder if my words sound good or even flow at all, and how I wanna share your words to the entire world. Alright, I'm sorry, let me fix myself. If I think of you, I know I will do well. It's times like these, I know I will prevail. Don't just say you have the heart, but don't do it. You say you won, you gotta show him and prove it. You have to be a life the Lord really remembers. Nothing could go wrong if we do it together.
And that is the Sumney Boys from America with Nothing Could Go Wrong. Before that, the Rapture Collective from Australia, All My Thanks and Love, and of course, Man and Groom from the Paper Music Associates in Korea. That is the featured artist of the day, and that song is Game. So let's get into some news going on around the world. And of course, through the news, we're able to really be able to see what's happening in the world. See what God is doing. And I think we received something very important from yesterday's message. Not yesterday's, from the Wednesday message, especially about, seeing and hearing the things going on in the world. And we're able to comfort God's heart. We can't be the ones that just keep taking from God and asking God to comfort us, but we have to be the ones that comfort God's heart. So, yeah, there is some sad news in today's, it was really weird because, not weird, but it's really amazing because after we received the Wednesday message, the first news item I saw, it was just heartbreaking. And I really prayed and say, God, I tried my best to comfort God's heart, but we'll get into that news a little bit. But wow, just in the message, it gives us another reason to look at the news and understand and see the sadness and being able to comfort God through what he must be feeling at this time. Okay, so we're going to first start off with the coronavirus updates. In the world up to this date, there's 268.3 million cases with 5.299 million deaths. That is a 1.97% mortality rate. Top 5 countries going by daily infection rates and daily death rates. The U.S. On this Friday, 127,000 cases with 1,324 deaths. Germany, 68,000 cases, 571. France with 61,000 cases and 133 deaths. The UK, 51,000 cases, 161 deaths. And then Russia rounds out the top 5 with 30,000 cases and 1,179 deaths. Yes, 1179. Not quite 1178, but it's 1179. But either way, in here in North America, we have the US, of course, on top, and then Canada in second with 3,500 cases with only 25 deaths in a single day, and then Mexico with 3,300 cases and 289 cases. So one of the good things that we are seeing is that at least the death rates are down, which is good. And that's the thing that we want more than anything else. And also, I think from next week, instead of looking at like the daily infection rates, because I think what's more important is the death rate, like how many people are dying in each country in a single day. And of course, on top, always every week is Russia right now. I'm not sure where the US is, but I'll start doing that from next week, all right? Only looking at the death rates. And actually, death rates are kind of morbid, isn't it? Either way, but it's good to know what is the situation going on around the world. And we can compare it to other diseases and stuff too, just to see comparatively how this coronavirus is. So let's get into the top 3 news. And yes, the first news is just heartbreaking. And this is something I do think that, especially when it comes from the Wednesday message, what we can pray about to God. And just really be able to see God's heart more than anything else. My heart was broken listening to this. This has to do with the Myanmar coup. Remember, there's like the army led a coup over the government, and then just recently, the leader of the Democratic Party, Aung San Suu Kyi, she was sentenced to 2 years, and that's only one of like the 14 counts. She can go up to like over 100 years in jail, but. This is just heartbreaking, and it's talking about the women have been abused and tortured in detention. So women in Myanmar have been tortured, sexually harassed, and threatened with rape in custody, according to accounts obtained by the BBC. Now, since Myanmar's military seized power in February, protests have swept across the country, and women have played a prominent role in the resistance movement. And human rights groups say that although the military in Myanmar used disappearances, hostage-taking, and torture tactics before, the violence has become more widespread since the coup. So as of December 8th, 1,318 civilians have been killed during military crackdowns on the pro-democracy movement, including 93 women, according to the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, nonprofit human rights organization. At least 8 of those women died while in custody, 4 of whom were tortured to death in an interrogation center. More than 10,000 people have been detained in total, including over 2,000 women. And democracy activists, like this very famous girl named Aung So May, was imprisoned for almost 6 months. And the first 10 days of which were spent in one of Myanmar's notorious interrogation centers, where she alleges she was sexually assaulted and tortured. And I can't, this is a podcast, but I was looking at the pictures, and it shows one of her pictures when after she's been beaten, her face is unrecognizable, right? And told the BBC that one morning while making placards for a protest, she was just arrested, bundled into the back of a van, and captors were questioning her, and for every answer they didn't like, they hit her with a bamboo stick. She said she was sexually assaulted while blindfolded, and and she was also saying that abuse doesn't just happen in secret interrogation sites. There's an activist in her 50s, right? And described to the BBC how she was placed in solitary confinement for more than 40 days, right? And she didn't have anything in her cell but the clothes she was wearing, not even medication or anything else. And during her detention, she grew increasingly weak. So the Human Rights Watch researchers told the BBC that often in prisons, about 500 women would be crammed into rooms only big enough for at most 100 detainees, and they would have to take turns to sleep because they can't all lie down at the same time. So they were also being denied basic sanitation. And the woman who was taken to, these women that were taken to these interrogation centers, the experiences, I can't even read all the things that these people are testifying about, just what these guards were doing to them, both male and female guards. And it just reminded me of the message that there is a time when we look at the news, we really have to be the ones that can comfort God's heart and not just getting comfort from God. And we need to be the ones that grow up and mature. Right. So I really, really hope that even more, I thought to myself, a lot of times in the past, I thought to myself, do I really need to put in like these really bad, like this news I'm reporting right now about women being assaulted and raped in prisons in Myanmar during do I really have to put this in? Because it's it's too sad. But then I realized from yesterday's Wednesday message is we need to know, because this is what God sees. And for me not to say it is kind of, it's like denying that God sees that these types of things are happening in the world, and we need to be the ones that pray for these people and also comfort God's heart more than anything else. So, it was just really heartbreaking. If you guys take a look at the news, you'll see the pictures and you'll see the stories. It's really, I can't imagine being God who has to watch these things happen. Okay, so that's the first report in the news. In second news, there's going to in Germany, the chancellor has been officially changed. So Germany's Olaf Scholz takes over from Angela Merkel as chancellor. And he has been sworn in as Germany's new chancellor, formally taking power after Angela Merkel's historic 16 years of leadership. And he promised he would do all he could towards a new start for Germany. And of course, as Merkel left the chancellery in Berlin, ending a 31-year political career, basically she told her former vice chancellor to approach the task with joy. So his center-left Social Democrats will govern alongside the Greens and the business-friendly Free Democrats. And Mr. Scholz, a soft-spoken 63-year-old, steered the Social Democrats to election victory in late September, positioning himself as the continuity candidate because he played a key role in the Merkel government as vice chancellor. So the German parliament, the Bundestag, backed him as chancellor by 390 votes to 303, and he was then formally appointed as the 9th federal chancellor by President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Now, after the vote in Parliament, he was asked by Bundestag President Barbel Bas whether he accepted the appointment, and he said yes, and he later took the oath of office, but unlike his predecessor, he left out the religious reference, "So help me God." Since the election, Mr. Scholz's party has worked with the Greens and the Free Democrats on a coalition deal, which was finally signed on Tuesday. And all 16 ministers took the oath of office on Wednesday, becoming Germany's first cabinet to include as many women as men. So the new government has ambitious plans to fight climate change by phasing out coal early and focusing on renewable energy, but their initial priority will be tackling the coronavirus pandemic. Health authorities have recorded another 69,000 cases in the past 24 hours and a further 527 deaths, the highest number since last winter. So Mr. Scholz's first foreign trip as chancellor will be to Paris and Brussels on Friday. He and the Greens' joint leader, Annalena Baerbock, who becomes foreign minister, will have to respond to fears surrounding Russia's military buildup near the border with Ukraine. Now, although Russia has denied plans to invade its neighbors, Angela Merkel agreed with U.S. President Joe Biden and the leaders of the UK, France, and Italy late on Tuesday that they would adopt a joint strategy to respond by imposing significant and severe harm on the Russian economy. And one obvious economic measure would be to threaten Russia's Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline to Germany, which has been completed but is still awaiting approval from the German energy regulator. So U.S. officials say they have reached an understanding with Germany that the pipeline would be shut down, which would be a significant intervention. So Mr. Scholz, in a message of congratulations to Mr. Scholz, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he looked forward to constructive dialogue and hoped that Germany continue to recognize there's no alternative to dialogue. So leaving the chancellery on Wednesday afternoon, Merkel was applauded by staff as she told her successor to take over and work for the good of Germany, and in turn he spoke of the crisis that had brought them together and of the deeply trusting collaboration they had developed. So first elected in December 1990, Angela Merkel was immediately given a ministerial job by the Chancellor Helmut Kohl, but she then helped oust him and became Christian Democratic leader in 2000 before becoming Chancellor herself in November 2005, and she will still have an office close to the Bundestag in a flat that was once used by Margot Honecker, once dubbed the most powerful woman in communist East Germany. All right, so, and last news is about the U.S. and Russia when it comes to the Ukraine. Biden warns Putin of strong measures amid Ukraine invasion fears, and the U.S. says it is preparing strong economic and other measures over fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine after Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin spoke. In a video call, President Biden voiced worries over Russian troop buildups near the border with Ukraine and called for a de-escalation of tensions. Russia says it will not attack. President Putin accused Ukraine of provocation and sought guarantees against eastward NATO expansion and deployment of weapons close to Russia. More than 90,000 Russian troops are believed to be massed near Ukraine's borders. The movement has strained already tense relations between Russia and the U.S. Now, after Tuesday's call, the U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the Biden administration was preparing specific robust responses in the weeks ahead if they were required. The measures include economic sanctions and other actions such as additional troop deployments to NATO allies in the region and defense equipment for Ukraine. Now, Mr. Sullivan refused to be drawn on what the economic measure might be, but he said Nord Stream 2, a new gas pipeline we just talked about with Germany, which is not yet in operation, provided leverage for the U.S. and its allies. Now, other possible measures include restrictions on Russia's banks converting rubles into foreign currencies or even disconnecting Russia from the SWIFT global financial payment system, reports say. So meanwhile, a Kremlin statement said President Putin had stressed that Russia should not be held responsible for tensions because NATO was making dangerous attempts to take over Ukraine territory and increasing its military potential on Russia's borders. The White House said President Biden did not make any guarantees to limit NATO expansion. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said that while the talks brought no sensations, he was grateful for President Biden's unwavering support. And Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba told the Reuters news agency that talks between Biden and Putin had enabled deterrence and de-escalation. But he said the focus is to put together a deterrence package to ward off any further escalation from Russia, and Ukrainian authorities have said Moscow could be planning a military offensive at the end of January, although U.S. officials say it is not yet clear whether President Putin has made a decision. Now, Presidents Biden and Putin last met in person in Switzerland in June, but made little progress other than to agree to send their ambassadors back and begin a dialogue on nuclear arms control. So let's see what happens here. And let's hope that there's not going to be some type of fighting or war even between Russia and the Ukraine. All right, so that is the top 3 news for today. In sporting news, number 1, we have the NBA. The Philadelphia 76ers defeat the Charlotte Hornets 110-106, and Joel Embiid 32 points and 8 rebounds. Cleveland Cavs beat the Chicago Bulls 115-92. Evan Mobley, the rookie, with 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocks. The Miami Heat defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 113-104. Miami's in 4th, and Milwaukee's in 3rd in the East. And it's a big matchup there, but glad to see Miami fighting back from the slump that they're in. On weird news, the Brooklyn Nets, which number 1 in the East, they lost to the Houston Rockets 114-104. James Harden with 25 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists in the losing effort. The Utah Jazz defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves 136-104. Donovan Mitchell with 36 points. The Dallas Mavericks bounced back from yesterday's loss, defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 136-104. Defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 104-96. Luka Doncic 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. The LA Clippers defeat the Boston Celtics 114-111, even though both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were not playing. Jason Tatum with 29 points and 10 rebounds in the losing effort. Now, last game was the Golden State Warriors defeating the Portland Trailblazers 104-94. Steph Curry with 22 points and 6 3-pointers. Now, what does that mean? He's only 9 3-pointers away from the record of most 3-pointers ever in the regular season. So we're going to keep a watch on how Steph Curry does over the weekend. In second news, we have the NHL and, of course, the Vancouver Canucks. That's my hometown team. Defeat the Boston Bruins 2-1. Las Vegas Golden Knights defeat the Dallas Stars 5-4. The Colorado Avalanche defeat the New York Rangers 7-3. New Jersey Devils defeat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-0. Now, so far in the league, in the NHL, who has the most points? It's Connor McDavid, best player in the league right now. He's the face of the entire league, 43 points, tied with his teammate on the same line, which is Draisaitl, and he has 43 points, and Ovechkin with 41. All right, last on the sporting news, we have soccer, the UEFA Champions League final day of games. Bayern Munich defeats Barcelona, and 2 things happen here. Number 1 is Bayern Munich becomes the second team, right? Liverpool just did it yesterday. Second team to win all matches in group play with 6 wins and 18 points. So this record or this feat was done twice in the same year, which is quite amazing. But on the second side, what happened is Barcelona finishes 3rd with this loss, and they do not make it to the next round. So that is a big blow for Barcelona. In other news, in the final day of games, Manchester United they tie with the Young Boys 1-1, and Juventus defeats Malmo 1-0, which means that they become first in their division, and Chelsea, they tied St. Petersburg. So Juventus becomes number 1 in their group, and Chelsea is number 2, advancing into the final 16. All right, so that is the top 3 news in sports and also top 3 news around the world. I hope it's something that can open our eyes to how we can pray and when we need to really comfort God's heart or celebrate with Him. All right, so let's get into a little bit more Christmassy mood. Right? And what we're going to do is we're going to have this golden time. But now, since Christmas is around the corner, we're going to play some Christmas songs in this history. We're going to start off with Eternal Love, and then Merry Christmas, and then We Have Fulfilled the Purpose of Love. Now, We Have Fulfilled the Purpose of Love isn't a Christmas song, but it's got a very Christmassy feeling. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. Everyone, enjoy this time giving praise and worship with this Christmas-style music. Everyone, as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
성자께서 이 땅 위에
성탄을 축하해요. 구세주의 탄생 그와 함께 오신 성자를 사랑해요. 주 말씀 지키면서 휴거의 영으로 온전히 만들어 성삼위께 영광을 삼위의 영원한 사랑의 대상체로 변화되길 내 맘과 정신을 성자와 시대의 분체와 일체 구시된 각오 새 시대 왔네 사랑의 시대 신부의 시대를 여셨네 성탄을 축하해요. 구세주의 탄생 그와 함께 오신 성자를 사랑해요. 주 말씀 지키면서 휴거의 영으로 온전히 만들어 성삼위께 영광을 축하해요. 구세주의 탄생 그와 함께 오신 성자를 사랑해요. 주 말씀 지키면서 휴거의 영으로 온전히 만들어 성삼위께 영광을 성자 다시 오셨죠. 신랑 되신 주님 시대의 구원자 우린 그를 만났죠. 영원히 사랑하며 그를 증거하며 더 높은 곳으로 창조 목적 이루리.
I'm happy if you're happy. The Trinity are happy too. That is all that matters. Since we found the path of life, now we can say time can keep flowing away. I'm on the way to heaven. We have fulfilled God's purpose of eternal love. In that golden heaven above, from the sunrise to the sunset, even as the moon begins to rise, even as the stars light up the night, In that golden heaven above, from the sunrise to the sunset, even as the moon begins to rise, even as the stars light up the night, we should go on serving God, serving the Holy Spirit. You and I should spend our days like this, here in this world of love. We live faithfully, believing without regret. Life is great, meaningful. Life is awesome when we live this way.
And that was We Have Fulfilled the Purpose of Love. Tell me, guys, did that feel really Christmassy or what, right? Doesn't it feel like we're getting into that Christmas spirit right now? Before that was Merry Christmas, and before that, Eternal Love. And, you know, it kind of brings back, yeah, it's time for, it really is time for Christmas. So I'm thankful that everyone, 2 weeks left, let's get back into it. Let's get back into this Christmas season, giving glory to the Holy Trinity for sending the Messiah 2,000 years ago. So I'm very, very grateful that I came from the former faith too. So let's get into today's word study for today. And of course, that Wednesday message, just powerful. I'm not sure if it was just me that received this, because I asked some other people like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. But I was like, oh my gosh, it was so powerful. Like from the very beginning, just that beginning point of, you know, raising your level in terms of faith, right? And there's these questions that, you know, these rhetorical questions that Sunseam just kept giving. I was like, how much have you improved your life of prayer? I was like, oh, okay. How much have you prayed more sincerely? How much have you tasted the prayer? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. How much have you anticipated the time of prayer, like looking forward to it, like waiting for a friend or a lover to arrive? Just earnestly wanting to meet with the Holy Trinity, confessing thanksgiving. Like, wow. I'm like, wow. How much have we like had that time of like even casual chatting with God, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Son, Lord, about what are my plans for the week? What are the days ahead? What's happening? Not repeating our prayers. Or how much have we discussed our terrible days, or just talk to God and say, God, you know, I'm just really struggling with this. And in like the same way a lover would share their troubles with the bridegroom. How much have we raised the level to the point that this is the one that was big for me, was you look at the tragedies of the world and you comfort God's heart, right? Instead of him always comforting our heart, we have to lend our heart to God and comfort him. And that's why that it was really interesting, because right after that message, looking into the news, and that Myanmar news was just heartbreaking. It's like, wow, God, this is what you were talking about, and this is what we need to comfort your heart with. Can you imagine God watching all this happen? It's something that we can't even understand, even to that level, right? And I hope that we'll really be able to be those people, the brides that can comfort the Lord, comfort God's heart, the Holy Spirit's heart of all this, the tragedies happening in this world. This point was a big one. The next point was a big one is, you know, Sunseam's still raising his level at this time. Like, he's still raising level, right? And how do you raise a level is the big question. And the answer was, the answer is in the Lord, right? So if you want to raise your level, you have to realize the value of the Lord. Because once you realize the value of the Lord, then you will automatically raise your level together with him, right? So that's why we have to sow and reap together, pray to realize more deeply about the Lord. So one of our big prayer topics is about, like, God, I want to realize the value of the Lord. Because once I do that, I'll automatically raise my level together. Because if we realize the value of the Lord, like one of the things I was thinking about is, how is that so that if I realize the value of the Lord, that I'll raise my level, right? And the key is, it says you'll raise your level together with him. If we realize the true value of the Lord, and then we realize we are living together with him, doing it together in real time is incredible. That you'll have no choice but to raise your level together with him. Understanding the value. Who is it? How great is this person, right? So that's the first realization I had. And I know that I'm sure you guys will have some more things to write in the comments, like, oh, what is your realization of what does it mean to value the Lord, that you'll automatically raise your level? And another question that came out is, are we entrusting our lives to God, right? Not just our lives, but the lives of the newcomers and stuff like that too. And there are a lot of problems happening because of people. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys are experiencing it in multiple countries. God, it's happening. Like people are leaving, or people are slandering, or whatever it is, right? And we need to be those that alleviate these stuck problems by praying for them and entrusting them to God. Because, with these types of situations, they're not going to talk to you. So how are we going to fix it? We got to pray. Only God can handle these lives. So we have to pray for them and entrust them to God. And of course, this last thing when it comes to the end of the year is our character. How much can we bury and eliminate the things of our character? Right? 2022, we need to start it fresh with, on a good, clean slate. And we need enough for God to work through. So there's a lot we can do, and there's a lot we have to do, but there's not a lot of time at the end of this year. So let's really, really focus and eliminate the unnecessary things that we're doing during the day. And then understand that if we do that, there is actually a lot more time than we think, but we do waste our time on a lot of different things. So this week's message came. I'm so grateful and thankful, especially for this Wednesday message. It makes it, it felt way more personal. Like God was really just talking to my heart, and I was just inspired from beginning to end. So I was very grateful for the Wednesday message. And even though, like as Sunsteam said, it seems like a similar message from the past, but the timing and potential is different. So what is that? What does that mean? The timing means that, when someone says for you to change, and let's just say it's the beginning of, change could be like you working on a project and you have to keep changing something so that the thing can be completed. But there's a big difference when you're at the completion stage and you just have a bit left with a little bit of time. You got to get everything done compared to the very, very beginning, right? Timing plays a big role. And I do think that when someone says to change, there's like, I'll give you this big example when I talk to new fathers and they're like, yeah, I realize I got to change. Why? Not because, it's because they have a child now. They can't think the same way. They can't have the same childish thoughts as the past, right? There's like big times in when people realize they have to change. Number one is when they get their first real job. Second is when they get married. And third is when they have, I would say even four then, because the third is when you get children. And probably the fourth is when someone close to you dies. This is when you realize you really need to change. So I hope that us too will realize that this timing right now, the timing is different. And right now is the tremendous potential to change is right now. So we may think to ourselves is like, oh, well, come on, it's not any different than before, but we don't understand what's happening spiritually. And spiritually, what's going to happen? This is the time, the potential to change in a tremendous way. So, we need to really be those that match God's timing and match his shimjung, because if this timing is to change, then those that change are matching his shimjung more than anything else, right? And God really wants to bless us, and he can only bless us as much as we are mature. So I hope that that's something that we can, will really be able to understand at a much higher level, right? We've got to change at the right time, right? So, in the message, did you feel that when the leader, like I felt God speaking, is like, God needs you. Like he needs you. You have to realize how much God needs you. Without you, how can he fulfill the purpose of creation? And we have to realize how valuable we are and how critical this time is. And very few people in the world know what we know. Very few people in the world are capable of what we can do. What do you mean capable? Capable doesn't mean that we're like the most skillful people, but what are we capable of? We are capable of praying for things at the level of a bride where God will listen. So I hope it's something that we can really think about. And this was only the introduction. Didn't even get into the word itself. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what an intense word, right? I'm not sure if that's what the head leader prepared, but it was so good. That beginning part just set my heart for the message more than anything else. And, when we get to the Lord's word, the time of growth is the most important time because when you look at the three great blessings, when you learn the purpose of creation is to be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth, right? And which means that the growth is one of the great blessings, right? To be fruitful, to grow until you're fruitful. So after creating all things, God gave the blessing of growth, right? And only when we grow do we achieve the purpose that God has set out. So we need to grow to achieve the purpose, to satisfy God. Right? So that's why we have to listen to God's word and then fulfill the purpose of creation. So God wants us to grow, right? And this is why he's blessing us and helping us. And even right now, at the last 3 weeks of the year, we have to kind of dig your feet in, and you have to want to grow more than anything else, right? Adam and Eve, they tried to do the same thing. They wanted to do it, but they lost the qualification of the purpose of to fulfill the purpose of creation the moment they fell. They were growing diligently according to God's will and God's word and his will. They were ready to fulfill the purpose of creation until they fell. So in the same way too, we have to realize our love and everything about us cannot fall, but we have to be those that are that keep the qualification to fulfill the purpose of creation, right? That's a rhyme. Keep the qualification to fulfill the purpose of creation. Okay, that sounds really bad. Rapture Collective, do not invite me as one of your rappers. Right? So we need to grow first more than anything else. And of course, to what degree do we need to grow? Obviously to completion. We have to grow until the point, what Sunseem said is grow to the point you can't grow anymore, which is impossible for, in the long run, but it's possible in the short run. If your level is level 2, there is an end to level 2 before you start level 3, which means grow until you can't possibly grow anymore, means reach the level 2. To the top point where you can't grow anymore, where you have no choice but to reach the next level, right? So God is blessing all of us right now, and he's blessing us to become, we are blessed as brides of this time period. So, a lot of us are still in the process of growing, but we need to continue to grow until we are complete so we can achieve the purpose of creation, right? And I really, really hope that we can look at our actions, right? And remember those videos about that adult like acting like a child? It's so sad when you see that, right? When an adult acts like a child, right? They're already adult. They shouldn't be acting like a child. So we need to grow up properly, right? Or we would have that mental or spiritual disease. We need to grow up properly in our faith, right? We have to live according to God's will. We can't live according to our own, right? So the childish ways is a sad one. But I like how in the third video, I think it was the third or fourth video, it talks about adults shouldn't behave like a child. However, right? It says, in the same way, when it comes to those of faith, it's like those who are hoping for Jesus' body to come back to life. That's the faith of a child. People hoping that God comes on the clouds, faith of a child. People believe the body's raptured into the air, faith of a child. People that believe we're still in the New Testament, that is the faith of a child, right? We have to ripen to that point where we don't believe the same way, the same childish ways. And this is why we have to really, when it comes to faith, we can't throw out reason. Right? Reason and understanding, these are all important parts that we have to understand more carefully. We have to ripen, right? Fully grow to the level of completion, ripen in terms of our life, right? So as we're growing little by little each and every day, we have to grow more and more each and every day. So, a child, just because you've grown up doesn't mean you're an adult or mature. It just means that you've grown up physically, but we have to become mature and act like an adult too, right? Act like an adult. You shouldn't act. You just are an adult, right? You just are. And we have to realize that we're going to go through the different stages, which is fine. Go through all the different stages. And the most important thing is, in order for us to grow, we have to listen to the amazing words of God, take action on it. Then we do all the things of faith, from evangelizing, testifying, lecturing, teaching, sermons, church work, prayer, praise, glory, growing in the word, growing in lifestyle, right? And we have to get ourselves to that point, right? Just like when, physically speaking, in order for people to get married, your body, mind, and love has to grow. In the same way, for the world of faith, we have to grow to that level of completion, and then we can be those that can love, serve, and converse with the Holy Trinity at that level, right? We have to understand that the Holy Trinity, it's all about love. Everything's about love. So we can't just sit there growing normally in an ordinary way. We have to, no one's going to marry someone for ordinary love. It's got to be extraordinary. This has to be great love. That's why we marry, right? To live with someone and to be attached to them for good and for bad, for better, for worse, right? Then God can love us as much as he wants, right? So we have to converse, right? We have to converse with God. And conversing means that when you converse with someone, it means that that person matters to you, right? I just really, the message is just too powerful. This message, this Wednesday message, I was so inspired by this. Looking at the way Sunstein lived, how he believed in Jesus, and then he had what you'd call extraordinary faith. Praying in the mountains, in the cold, not eating, reading the Bible 2,000 times, right? Realizing clearly that Jesus was the Messiah, opening his eyes to love, right? Opening his eyes to spiritual love, opening his eyes to God, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Son, opening his eyes to the words of the time period, opening his eyes to saving lives. Then after 20 years in the mountains, as crazy as that sounds, he begins a complete Testament history. And we need to learn. This is how we learn how to grow, right? We have to learn. God is taking us as the counterparts of love, and he's going to rapture us. He's raptured us as we reach a certain level. So we have to keep learning, keep growing, keep taking action. Until when? Until our lives end. And we have to grow in the most appropriate way, right? For what? For your age group. So if you're 6 years old, don't be sitting there thinking about there's just so many things that we have to think about, but we have to grow appropriate for our age group. And I think that's something that's important. That's if it's not appropriate, it's almost like asking a 6-year-old to get married, which makes no sense. A 6-year-old's not going to even understand what love is. We have to grow in the way appropriate for your age group, right? Completion, grow to completion for your age group. Right? That's what we got to do. And then you'll get authority accordingly to your level. And that's why we have to grow appropriate for your age group. And the second part I like is grow appropriately for yourselves. And I guess the general rule of thumb is don't center on yourself. Right? Don't just think about just using yourself and nothing more. We have to realize why we are growing and for whose use. So I hope that we can all become the counterpart of love. And we need to know the Lord properly. That's how, knowing the value of the Lord, we got to know him properly, pray for this, learn and know about God, right? So, looking at all the looking at the videos of what women don't look like in the past, all the different things and how great it is. Oh, what an amazing, amazing video, right? We see it all the time, but we have to realize that's growth, right? That's growth. That video showing how Sunstein struggled to endure, to please God's heart, to love him more, to fulfill God's will. So where should our focus be? It's always been we testify for the Lord and the Lord testifies for God. That's the way it works, right? Our focus should be on the Lord, only on the Lord. So we have to start with realizing the fundamental value of the person sent by God and naturally value the word more. Okay, so let's really value the words that we're getting, put it to practice, and let's just satisfy the Lord's heart. And let's strive, challenge, achieve, right? Using, achieving what God wants in his times, right? And let's not just do things for God in our own time, in our own way. No, we have to do it in God's time, all right? And there's going to be just amazing blessings that are going to wait for all of us also. All right. So that is the word study for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Like the word study, the Wednesday message was such amazing words. So I'm really grateful and thankful that all of us here have just really understood the words that much more. Okay. So that means we're going to get into the song of choice for today. And it's Musical Friday. However, it is Christmas time. So I want to play a Christmas song. This is not from a Christmas musical, but it's a really good song. It's called Christmas Will You Stay? And for me, it feels like it's talking about the Lord, right? Christmas Will You Stay from Laura Osnes. All right. So please enjoy the song of choice for today.
Never makes a sound, tumbling yet peaceful as it's falling. Frost flickers on the ground. Listen to the silence as it's calling. Trees sparkle in the night. Years of ancient history surround us. These carriers of light quietly illuminate around us, saying Christmas time is near. But will the feeling last all year? Kindness leads the day. Can you hear me say, Christmas, will you stay? Children smile and cheer. Peace and joy are here. Make it last all year. This I pray. Christmas, will you stay? Love lingers in the air. Peace and joy and wonder are the reasons. Though nothing can compare, will it stay forever through the seasons? We know Christmas Day is near. Please let the feeling last all year. Kindness leads the way. Laughter fills the day. Can you hear me say, Christmas, will you stay? Children smile and cheer. Peace and joy are here. Make it last all year. This I pray. Christmas, will you stay? Christmas, will you stay?
And what a beautiful song. That was Christmas Will You Stay with Laura Osnes. And I really hope that you guys are slowly getting yourselves into the mood of Christmas. I'm here in LA and there's no snow. It's just getting a little bit colder, but there's no snow. So it doesn't really feel like Christmas to me. But I will be in Vancouver on the 23rd, which means definitely I will be seeing some snow. I heard there were some flurries in Vancouver a couple days back too, so super thankful about that also. All right, so what a wonderful song. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, which means we're going to get into the last section for today, which is not just the last section for today, but for the entire week. We're going to end things off with a bang. As usual, every Friday we have Victory Rhymes with Youngsay. Everyone, please enjoy.
What's up, everyone, and a warm welcome to this week's segment of Victory Rhymes here on the Morning Star Drive. With me, I'm Youngsay from South Africa, and I'm bringing you the resurrected poetry written by the brides of this time. And resurrected poetry basically refers to the arts, the writing that is resurrected. So much art exists in this world, songs and writing and all kinds of artistic expressions that are so fallen. But since we have resurrected, we have come to know the word, and we've become the brides of the Trinity in the Lord, we can write resurrected poetry and poetry and arts that really give life. And so today I am going to share with you an amazing, very short but truly amazing and deep poem that Sang Sinim wrote. It's from the book called The Rocks Crumbled But My Heart Did Not Crumble. And I'm bringing you this poem all the way from South Africa. Last week we had someone share a poem from Japan, and the week before that was someone from Australia. And it's just, like I said last week, it's just amazing to me how connected we are. And it's I don't know if you would be interested in hearing updates from South Africa. South Africa is in the news for the new variant these days. But we have some other good stuff here. We have animals. Some people think that lions just roam around freely and you can just see them anywhere. But I hate to crush your dreams, but that is not true. I've actually never seen that. That is like, you'll have to go to the safari to see lions just walking around, or some nature reserve kind of place. But what I have seen recently that was quite interesting is I was on a farm this weekend, just like not a wildlife farm, just a farm, okay, with where we grow crops and stuff. And I was on this farm and I was driving on the farm road to the farmhouse. And I was diced by an ostrich. And I wish I can just show you guys the video just now, but I was literally diced by the ostrich. The ostrich won, okay? But the ostrich was running in front of me, like mincing down that road and just chasing. And I didn't know ostriches could be that fast. I mean, I've seen Jumanji too, and I know they are quite scary, but in real life, they are the dinosaurs of the birds. Like, that for me, like an ostrich is real life dinosaur material. They are so big, and they look quite like, they do give off like dinosaur vibes with their like big bodies and these two huge, I mean, they're not thick, but these two legs that they run on, like it just makes them seem like dinosaur birds. But anyway, so that happened. And then on another occasion, I drove back again on that farm road, and some dead animal was lying at the side of the road. And I was like, what's that? And it was like I don't think you can guess this, but it was not a rabbit, not a frog, not a baby sheep, a lamb, but a hedgehog. Like, what kind of animal is brave enough to hunt down a hedgehog? But that happened, and my sister was driving with me. I was like, what? Like, is that a hedgehog? She's like, yeah, girl, like, welcome to the wildlife. I'm like, okay, I'm back home, and I need to get used to seeing this kind of thing on a farm again. I don't live on a farm, but yeah, I was there. But this kind of thing you cannot see just like randomly on a street anywhere. It has to be like special area or a farm or something. And I was in the northern part of South Africa. I was with a friend, and there you could actually, next to the road, but this is not in the road, guys, this is like next to the road with a fence. And there you can see zebras, you can see maybe giraffe or all kinds of deer. Yeah, that kind of thing, pretty normal. Sheep, cows, extremely normal to see next to the road, because we have these big farms that are next to the road. So yeah, that is just a little bit interesting facts about South Africa. If I experience other kind of interesting things, I could talk about it in this segment. But just, yeah, these kind of animal things, I really missed it. It's really exciting for me to see it again, especially the nature is just breathtaking. Like, it was amazing to me how beautiful the sunsets are, and it's just like pink skies and so incredibly beautiful. And here in the countryside, like I'm in the countryside now, and you can just see so much nature. No skyscrapers, of course not, but even in the big towns like where I live, there aren't any skyscrapers. Like, that is really extremely rare, if it even exists. It's extremely rare to see like Korea standard skyscrapers in South Africa. So it's refreshing because you get like really clear views and beautiful views from even coffee shops, and yeah, etc. I need to stop. This is a poetry segment, guys. We need to get to the point here and stop talking about South Africa. So the poem that I want to read to you from The Rocks Crumbled But My Heart Did Not Crumble by Sangsni goes like this. Just because something did not turn out well and you collapsed or fell down does not mean you failed. The issue is whether or not you can get up again and how quick you can get up. Now, isn't this just incredibly encouraging and inspiring to hear? It says, just because something did not turn out well and you collapsed or fell down does not mean you failed. Isn't that just amazing to hear? Because life happens to all of us. And sometimes you might lose strength, you might collapse, you might fall down, but it does not mean you failed. What really matters is whether or not you can get up and how quick you can get up. Isn't that just amazing? It's all about getting up again. And it just it relates to this week's message to me, like about being mature. You know, when something happens and you feel like you collapse or you fall down, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, everything, then you have the option, you choose whether you're gonna be discouraged and whether you're gonna give up, or whether you're gonna blame other people, or whether you're gonna blame yourself, or whether you're gonna read the word, pray more, and get up, or ask for help. And we do all have a choice. Like these kind of things, you know, whatever age we're at, life happens, stuff happens to us, and sometimes You could collapse or you could fall down. But just remember that it's about getting up. And in this message this week about maturing and growing is about the word and prayer. And I love that part where Pastor Jones said that, let me just see my notes, is about praying and conversing and the word. She said that 90% of the answers are in the word that the Lord already gave. So when we collapse or fall down, then we have the resource, we have the answer to gain strength again. When I'm collapsed, I just need to open my eyes. I just need to grab the word and I just need to read it. And eventually, I'm gonna find the answer. I'm gonna gain strength again. And my thoughts can resurrect again. I can gain strength. Or, we've all been there in those times when you just collapse. You just feel like exhausted, or you feel just tired, you gain strength, you lost strength, or you feel just emotionally shattered for some reason. And just close your eyes and pray. Talk to God. And just take the word and just read it. And there is our strength. When we know where our strength comes from, we can always get back up again. And we can mature so that we become the people who really hold on to the word, hold on to prayer, and really mature and grow and really just have this confidence of the purpose of creation. And yeah, it just, we've talked about the message a lot this week. I'm sure we've talked to each other. We've listened to the Morning Star Drive and we've listened to the message. And it's about knowing the purpose of creation. And when we forget that, sometimes we lose strength. But when we really remember the purpose of creation that I'm called for and that I know about and that I can talk to God about, then strength comes back. When we remember, if you forget, you die. But if we remember, we gain strength again. We feel excited again and we feel thankful again. And that also helps us. So this is my 2 cents. Amazing poem. Just truly encouraging poem by Sang Slim. The issue is whether or not you can get up again and how quick you can get up. So let's remember that. Now, when you fall down, when you collapse, it's not the end. You've not failed, but it's about getting up. And it's about how quick you can get up. And we know that it's prayer and the word. That's our strength. Knowing the purpose of creation is our strength. And living it is our strength. So I hope everyone enjoyed this segment today. I'll be back again next week with another segment of Victory Rhymes. And maybe, who knows, a story about South Africa. Okay, have a great day, everyone. This is Youngse. Goodbye.
And thank you so much, Youngse, for another wonderful edition of Victory Rhymes. Actually, you know what? I want to hear the updates of what's happening in South Africa. It would be great. You know what? If we can get a section here where people who are in pioneering countries or other countries around the world, I would love to hear updates on this program where you can tell me like, oh, in our church, we're doing this. In our church, we're going through these things here right now. So if that's great, I would love for other countries to give updates on how things are going. I think that'd be great, right? So everyone, this is the end of today's podcast for the entire week. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Make sure to check out the video on Espresso with Sky. I'm on why doesn't God show himself to make everyone believe. Also, make sure you leave a comment there so we can break that algorithm. Sunday, we have the Sunday edition interview with Olivia Saratella over here in Los Angeles. And then we'll see you guys again on Monday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm